One.
You learn how to count. Hey everybody, welcome back to the 863 Sports Buzz with your host, Marshentime, and look who we got back today, Donnie Mac. Donnie Mac, how you feeling over there, buddy? You ready to do this today?
I'm feeling good, guys. I am feeling good.
Yeah,
Hey,
it took you long to
big
come back,
kudos,
so.
big kudos to you, Marshentime, holding it down, bringing in Aces High, which is a perfect fill-in. You know what, Marshentime, you called it. You've been the mastermind behind this whole project. Aces High was a really good fill-in. I love and I agree with everything he did in his top 10 quarterbacks for this season,
Of
dude.
course, yeah.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And not only that, he had to make a Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey
Oh, yeah,
reference.
yeah, he had to throw that in at me.
I fell out of my seat when he threw that in there, dude. That was awesome. Hey,
Yeah, yeah, he had
kudos
to
to
throw
you,
that at me.
Aces High. We'll see you in a week or two. It's not going to take that long, dude. I'll see you in a half a week, brother.
Yeah, he said he would be welcome to come back anytime, so just let him know. I'll bring him back in.
Bring you back in. So what are we going to do this time, there,
Listen, man.
Brain?
This is our PITA. We're going to talk about some stuff here, but we got to do some
Yeah.
power rankings. It's the NFL. We're going to talk a little baseball. Wild cards. Just got over. Our Florida teams kind of got swept out and got knocked out, but
Man, Martian time. That's a
it's
big hurt for me. I want to talk about that right off the rip. We're going to talk about everything going on in sports today. But first of all, Major League Baseball, October. We've been talking about October going to kick off. I told you that the Marlins were going to be a headache when they got in the playoffs. They were not, Martian
well, they
time.
kind of got. I'm
They,
going to be honest. They got screwed over big time with having to go to New York and play the
go
Mets
ahead.
Monday night, and then they had to go right to
Yeah,
Philadelphia and play Philadelphia immediately the next day. Like,
that's
all these other
BS.
teams got a day off. They got to go over, they got to see, they got to get rest. And, Miami got bad injury news right before the playoffs, and their ace got shut down for the season, which really hurt them as well. So,
Yeah,
next few years,
That was
though,
a
Miami may
that
be a
was a double
dangerous
blow.
team.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if you were getting tickets, and March Time told me, if you were getting tickets for $12 and $15 this year, it won't be that next year. Okay, the Marlins will make a run. They have not only bid in front of that trade deadline to get these players to make a playoff run, they failed against the Phillies. Okay, this is the same Philadelphia Phillies that we saw in the World Series last year with Aaron
Oh,
Nolan,
yeah.
Bryce Harper. These guys don't go away. Okay, you are competing in that conference, that division. You are competing. I mean,
Yeah, I
number
mean,
one,
and you got to
you got the
remember, the
Atlanta
Braves are
Braves.
right there, too. Yeah, that's crazy. And the
You
New
guys are
York Mets are not a
competing.
slouch team. They have some
Please,
big players.
yeah, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. And a couple of them, the Mets, a couple of those Mets are trying to make a bid to go elsewhere. They've got a few names on their slate, but Miami is not out of that bidding. I'm telling you what, Miami's got something to prove. Somewhere in that front office, they've got something working, and they're not giving up. They're not giving up. If they didn't prove that at the trade deadline, if you're a South Florida Miami fan, do not give up on those Marlins because they're going to make a run at it next year, dude. You're not going
Heck
to get
yeah.
those tickets for $13 a pop. You're not going to get them. It's going to be more like $35 and $40 a pop.
Listen, man, that stadium is so nice, though. You still got to go. I'm telling you, man. This stadium is so nice in the AC, and the food is amazing. Like, all the food that I've had there has been so good, and it's awesome. Like, I want to go back. I will go back, of course. Like, next year, I will find a game to go, of course, like
A
always.
Martian
I
time,
always hit one game every year.
dude, just like the first time you told me that, I've never been. For you guys who don't know, I've never been to that new Miami Marlins stadium, retractable roof, with the
Yes.
Dolphins in the outfield. I've read everything there is about it, and USA Today Sports brochure when they came out with the mapping and the blueprint of that thing. I read it from front to back. I've never been there, but what he's talking about, it doesn't matter. The first time you said it, Martian time, It
It's
sounds
awesome.
just as good as the last time
It's
you
awesome,
said
man.
it,
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You gotta
brother.
go. We'll have to make a game, man. We'll go out there one day. Do the
So not only
863
did
Sports
our
Buzz at Miami.
and I am a Cincinnati Reds fan. Everybody
You
sees
are,
that
you
back
know.
here, right here. Second of all, I live in South Florida. I am a Miami Marlins fan too. I'm a baseball fan. I am a sports fan. Okay. Second of all, the Rays went down in a sweep too, dude. We lost another
They
Florida
did. I'm
team
telling you, man. Florida teams
at
just struggled.
Tropicana.
So, yeah. Yeah, that is true, too. They
What?
were the
What
home
the
team.
heck? What the
I'm,
heck, dude? I
I'm not
mean,
sure what happened. Baseball got to change their postseason just a little bit, though. They got to give like a week so these guys can actually
thank
do
you.
something. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
They
Thank you
have
for
to.
pointing that out, Marshentime. You know what's been driving me nuts for the last 3 weeks over baseball? You already know.
The
And it's been the
scheduling. I know.
scheduling.
I
Don't get me
know.
started. We don't have enough time in this podcast to get me started on Major League Baseball scheduling. At the end of the year, in the middle of the year, in the postseason. You gotta be kidding me, bro. You gotta be
No,
kidding me.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. It's been struggle how they've been doing it, and I don't like how they've been doing it.
I can't do
Um,
this. I can't do this. You know what? I tell you what's wrong with the Rays. Okay, I'm gonna take over, and I'm sorry. You know, our legend from the Tampa Bay Rays, he is now in Arizona. You know, that third baseman, he goes by the name of Evan Longoria. He is
I don't think I
flashback
don't think I've
to
ever heard
old
that guy. I don't
form.
think I've ever heard that guy.
He is flashback to old form in Arizona, and Arizona is about to take that league by storm over there in the National League. I really hope they do that, and they have some of the biggest players that nobody's ever heard of. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
that is true.
you're talking about rookies that are doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. Corbin, that'd be one of them.
Oh
That
yeah, I
would be the
mean,
number one. Zach Wheeler coming off, what he's been doing. Uh, yeah, that's where Evan Longoria has gone from the Tampa Bay Rays. He's gone over there to Arizona, and he's doing the. Hey, matter turn on ESPN right now with the web gems, and you'll see that double play he started right there. Just start there. Just start there. And
listen, no, I
Arizona's got
agree with
something
you, man.
special going on in these playoffs, man. Talk about Major League Baseball playoffs with me. Come on, Cody, spit
Listen, man.
something out. What do you
You're
got
talking
going
about
on?
this. I'm ready for the division round because in this division round,
Oh,
there's a division matchup that we got to talk about.
big time.
Atlanta and Philadelphia coming in. This is going to be fun to watch, man. I mean, how more common can you get? The Philadelphia's playing the Marlins, and now they're
Oh
going to play the
my
Braves.
God.
Like, come
Oh
on,
my
how weird
God.
is this? It's such a
No,
weird setup that they have it, but it's
this
kind
is
of
a
cool.
setup, and when you think about the 1985 Bears meeting the steel curtain of the AFC Steelers, this is what you're thinking about.
Yeah, this
This
is. I mean,
right
these are two
here,
huge teams.
nobody's talking about this on any broadcast about any, and I'm
I
glad you
don't know
brought this up,
why.
Martian Time.
This just
Nobody's
shows the NL
talking
East is
about
so
this.
strong.
Last year, the year before, 2020, the Atlanta Braves, they went they
Yeah,
did it
yeah.
against in the NLCS against the Phillies. Okay,
I
you
mean, we're
come
talking about
back.
106 win team.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, and this has been reverberated for the last 3 years. Okay, Phillies come back and knock Atlanta off, and early in our season, A63 Sports Buzz podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Catch that on Spotify. We got a lot of stuff out on there, but early in our podcast too, though, I said that though.
We have. You
Atlanta,
did. You did.
Atlanta. You told me why is Atlanta playing
We
so
asked
good
you. Yeah, I
early
mean,
on in this season, and that's
yeah.
why because the Phillies, for lack of better words, pissed them off. They
And they
straight
struggled. The
look what
Philadelphia Phillies struggled too. They
they
struggled at the
did.
beginning of the season. They started coming on very strong at the end of the season. So I would be very cautious of them going into Atlanta because this is going to be a crazy series.
This is going to
Philadelphia's on
be
a hot streak, but Atlanta is just that team that they're hard to beat all around. Their pitching is good, their offense is good, and they probably have one of the best players in the league on their team in Ronald Acuna Jr. That dude is doing stuff that no one has seen in years. Just watch his highlights, man. It's insane. I love watching the guy
What was that,
play.
40-70? That
Yeah,
he's a
40-70,
40-70.
exactly.
It's
That's just
never been
crazy.
done.
No, no, it's
He's without a doubt, he's hands down MVP.
there's no
MVP
doubt.
of
There's no
the
doubt about that.
season.
No doubt about that.
Ronald Acuna is without a doubt, yeah.
I'm
But
excited to see that.
you throw in there now. I'm going to harp on the NL because I think that's where the championship's coming from. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
can see
sorry,
it. I can see it.
Marshentime.
Hey, but you know,
I'm
no,
sorry.
you say that. You got the Baltimore Orioles over there, who's been the sneakiest team in the baseball, dude.
They
103 wins. They're right behind Atlanta.
and
They've been
exactly
sneaky good. I think
exactly
they could
what
be
you said.
underestimated. I'm just saying.
No, the errors, the defense, the small ball, everything that Ronald
What wins
Acuna
games.
and the Atlanta Braves do, that's what wins games. That's exactly it. And look, and I'm going to put an emphasis on this. Just last night, the Philadelphia Phillies, Greg Kimbrell on the mound. He's got a man on second against none other than our
The Marlins,
boys.
yeah, the balk.
What did he do? He balked it
Yeah,
just
on
so
purpose.
that runner on second base could not see what he was throwing to strike out that last out. You know
Yeah.
what? That's small ball. In my opinion, that's what it takes to win a championship. If you got players like that come from way back, and Craig Kimbrell, he come from that Atlanta Braves
He
organization.
did.
You
He
know,
did.
let's not forget that. He come up through that farm system. He wasn't traded there. They raised, in lack of better terms, they raised Craig Kimbrell. Uh, I
I
don't
see
know
what you're
what
saying.
else to say. These two programs right here meeting in the NLCS, this is what we pay money for right here. I want to see this. That's my
It's
World
exciting.
Series. I'm sorry.
It's
The
exciting.
American League with the Tampa Bay Rays gone, Tampa Bay Rays were the last team that plays small ball in the American League. I'm sorry. Texas,
Ooh,
you're out.
I
Houston,
don't.
you're out. No, Houston is built on offensive power and starting pitching. That the
But you're
back end of
still
the
leaving the
bullpen,
Orioles out, man.
and they're
You're
built
not
on the
talking about this
same
team.
thing. They're built about the AL. They're built about the AL. The NL is about defense. They're the
Man,
NFC to the AFC, but offense to defense. You know what I mean? I can't emphasize that enough. I really can't. I really can't put an emphasis on the back end of that bullpen. I just mentioned it. Craig Kimbrell. Who the
oh no,
hell
I
are
mean,
you going to put up in this game against him in the ninth inning? Not
listen,
no
listen.
soul that you can think of.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The pitching's good. You know, it's gonna be fun to watch. But I'm telling you, don't count out the Orioles. Or, I'm just saying, don't count them out.
They play as a whole. You're right. They play as
Just
a
saying.
team, which reminds me of the Tampa Bay Rays a few years ago when they won a World Series.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
play as a team, and it's
Everybody.
not.
They've been so sneaky. Everybody's
You're
underestimating
right.
them. I'm telling you.
I see your clause behind that. I really do. I really see that team element because they
They're
rotate as a
coming around,
ball.
man, and they're all
They don't
young. They
flop
don't
as a
care.
brick. As a brick. Yeah. You're right. You're right
They
about
don't.
that.
They don't
Now
have the pressure. They don't care. They're
it doesn't
going because
matter.
they're
It doesn't matter.
underestimated. I'm telling
That's
you.
what Tampa did when they started their small ball
Exactly.
deal.
I'm
That's
telling
what
you.
Tampa. Hey, Oakland did the same thing when they were Oakland A's. With
Good old
Moneyball.
Moneyball, man.
Moneyball, they did the same thing. They clicked on the same cylinder. Maybe that's what Baltimore's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baltimore's
Maybe.
been doing
Maybe.
this. Now, I will point out to back you up, Baltimore's been setting this season up for the last 2 years now. They've been drafting,
Yeah.
they've been trading, they've been hiring. And when I say hiring, I'm talking about pitching coaches and batting coaches that know what the hell they're doing, you know?
It's. I mean, you keep saying that the Braves and the Phillies are going to be who's going to win this. I'm telling you, you got to be
Yeah.
cautious of these Orioles.
You
But
got to be
I'm
cautious. Hey, we will mark that right now on PITA. Round Marshentime said, mark that the Orioles are to be reckoned with. They are
I think
not
they
to be
should be.
overlooked. They are not
Shouldn't
to
be.
be overlooked. I second that now. I second that. I still
right.
take the Phillies or the Braves. Whoever wins that, I still take them. But if the Orioles break through, that would not surprise me because you make a lot of sense.
Well, thank you. See, at least you agree with me on something, guys. He never agrees, so
I
that's a good
always
thing if he
agree with you.
agrees.
I always, you're my buddy. I always agree.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
What you
So
got
now
next, Martian time?
we got that. We got to do a little power ranking. You know, everybody comes out with their power rankings on the NFL. We got to do our
Oh
power
my!
rankings, man.
You
I
gonna
feel
hit
like
me
we
with
got to
that
do
right
this.
now?
We have to, man. We have to. We need to get it done. You know, it's quarter way through the season. We've seen everybody. This is our quarter of the way through season power rankings. This is it. We're gonna do this. You know, in the half end, we'll do the 3/4, and then we'll do it at the full end. You know, but what do you see as your power ranking? We'll say we'll do what, top five, top 10. What do you want to do? Top five?
Run top 10, 5, 15, 25, and whatever you want to do. I
I
can make it
want.
as fast as you want to go. You tell me the pace you want to go, and we'll do it.
We'll do top 10. We'll do top 10. Top 10 sounds fun. You know what I mean? So we'll do top 10.
Relatively fast pace.
Yeah, you know, we'll
Let's do
top
it.
five. We'll do a little
Fire
bit
it off.
faster, a little bit longer. You know, top 10. Where you want to go, man?
Now,
Number 10.
hold on. Now, do
Okay.
I
Hold
choose
on,
my
hold on.
list, or do you have a list you're giving me?
No. I'm letting you. We're gonna choose together here. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna play some teams here. We're gonna do this back and forth. All right. This is
Okay, good
our.
deal. Good
This is
deal.
our top 10 power
Good deal.
rankings.
Number
All right.
one. Let's start number
You want to do number
one.
one? All right. We'll
That's
start with number one.
easiest to
All
do.
right.
Number one on the season. We're going to disagree on that, but
Are
for
we?
me, it's Lamar Jackson.
Lamar. Oh, so you want to do? I was talking about whole teams, though. We're doing whole teams here, sir. Not
Okay,
our
okay.
quarterbacks. Not the
I
quarterbacks.
thought
I
you
know
were
what you're.
talking about
That's
quarterbacks.
coming up a little
Okay.
later, buddy. That's coming up a little later. It's coming
Hey,
a
I
little
just
later.
put a fire under your butt,
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
didn't
you
I?
know. Yeah, you're out of your mind on that one. But
So, whole
number
team,
one
number
overall
one.
team.
Oh man, number one overall has got to
Number one
be
overall power
easily
rankings right now.
San Francisco
That's where I'm going with you on
49ers.
that one too.
Hey,
CMC,
there's
Brock
no
Purdy,
doubt, dude. Yeah.
Debo, Brandon Ayuk, you know, and then on the defense with, oh man, it's just crazy.
Listen, you
It's
tell me that Brock
crazy.
Purdy's got 86% pass accuracy and completion rating right now
Pretty
after the
good.
fourth week in the NFL. That's pretty darn good. And that's no big thanks to Christian McCaffrey, okay? That's a big thanks to his
It's
big wide
insane.
receivers he's got
Yeah.
out there.
Brandon
Christian
Ayuk
McCaffrey. Hey, yeah, I'm
has
trying to
been
tell
a
you,
surprise.
Debo hasn't been there since week one, but Debo caught a back shoulder already, and Brock Purdy, you're doing your thing. You're number one, San Francisco
All
49ers.
right, now we're gonna go to number two. Where do you see the number two overall team in this NFL? Do you go
Number
with the Dallas
two,
Cowboys? Do you go with the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you go with, like a Buffalo Bills right now? Do you go with the Kansas City? Where do you go?
you said it right there. That's the Buffalo Bills right there,
Buffalo
Marshentime.
Bills number two. I kind of agree with it.
Buffalo
Handle
Bills.
Miami.
Yeah, you know what? A team puts up 70. It may be arguably the worst team in the NFL. It doesn't matter. They still got Sean Payton coaching that fucking football team. And you know what? The Miami Dolphins put 70 points on them.
They did.
Then they turn around and they only score 20 against the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, that's a stigma of the location, time of the season. Still got some maturity to work out. But the Buffalo Bills have secured themselves for the last 3 weeks. I will not count week number one. Nobody can
Yeah,
count
that's
week
a little
number
weird.
one because the speculation you got to play defense against Aaron Rodgers, and now all of a sudden after four
Yeah.
plays you got to play. I agree with Ace is high on that. I watched that episode. I agree with Ace and high. Buffalo Bills number two are the second team to reckon with.
All right, so where are we going with number three, man? Where you feel number three? I like Buffalo, so I completely agree with that one. I'm not going to argue with you. We're going to keep Buffalo at number two. Number three is where it starts getting tricky for me. This is where I can see multiple teams. You got to throw in some good details on this one, man. I like Dallas, the way Dallas has been playing, but they did have that big loss to Arizona. Um, Miami, of course,
Everybody
has played
calls that a
well.
big loss, Martian time. That's not a big loss.
It's a pretty
Okay.
big loss, man. I mean, Arizona has
Nobody
not
Yeah, by speculation, by the outside looking in, but you look
Mm.
inside and you start looking at what's going on. Arizona is a nitty gritty defensive team, and on the offensive side, they're making stuff happen. They are just making it happen. Maybe they got one of those guys back there that we never heard of, like Tom Brady. Who knows? The same
Hey,
could be
hey,
said
I
for
got a
the
question,
Houston
man.
Texans.
I got a question. What's their record?
2-2.
Okay. So you're telling me that they should have beat the Dallas Cowboys, who just absolutely massacred the Giants, who the Giants are very bad. I'm going to be honest.
They gave up 11 sacks against the Houston Texans.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
11. Micah Parsons had 6 of them.
yeah. Micah Parsons is that dude is just he's
Hey,
built
what do you
different.
what do you want me to say there, Marshentime? I
So
can't.
where are we going,
that,
man? Where do you feel
that
like
offensive
you
line,
put Dallas
Evan
number
Neal,
3?
Evan Neal and company, they need to really do a reality check and really if
I
they
agree.
want to play
I
football
agree.
in the NFL or not. That offensive line is in shambles in New York. You know what? That's not Daniel Jones's fault, even though he's fucking horrible and his decisions and what the hell he did.
Yeah, he's not a good quarterback.
When you take
He's
off
not.
running against a guy like Micah Parsons, it's just not going to happen. You're not going
That's
to beat
true.
that guy, okay? So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Number 3, it will be Dallas. Dallas,
Okay, okay.
the Dallas Cowboys. Until you prove me otherwise, you know what? They faced a very good Arizona team. This is going to be an Arizona team that we're going to talk about again when they face the San
Ooh,
Francisco
ooh.
49ers.
No, they already
This
faced
will
them.
be that team.
They already faced
No,
them. They faced them
I
last
said,
week.
I said again, again. Again.
Okay.
When,
Whatever
when
you
they
say,
face
buddy.
it,
Whatever
when
you
they,
say. Hey guys,
when they,
he's losing his mind a little bit. Just let him feel what he wants. All right. They're not.
when,
They're not a
when
good
they
team.
face a
Bud.
good,
They're not a
hey,
good team.
hey,
They're not
no,
a good
no.
team. They should
Well,
never beat Dallas.
I'm not saying
Dallas
they're a good
lost that
team.
game. It's a big loss.
I'm saying they just like the Jets, okay? They're on the same spectrum with the Jets, okay? They have the defense in place. That's what keeps them competitive, okay? First of all,
Hey,
that's
we're,
it.
we're moving on. We're moving on to number 4. We're moving on to number 4. Number 4 for me. I'm looking at teams. I know you don't like them, but there's one reason you got to put this team at number 4, and that's because Patrick Mahomes. You got to put Kansas City at 4, man. I'm telling you.
Well, they're arguably a number 3, Marshentime. They're
They
arguably
could
a
be,
number
but
3.
the way they've played, they haven't really shown up all the time. And, Mahomes doesn't really have the targets that he normally does. I mean, he has Travis Kelce. That's about his only main target. They're
That's
starting
it.
to get the running game. Their defense is starting to pick up. But they're the number 4 overall team to me. It's because of Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is just built different. He makes the plays that are just unexpected. And you can never count him out. You can never count
No,
that guy
you can't.
out. That's what I love
he
about
proved that in prime time. Even if he gets a
100%.
holding call or not, he's going to make something happen. He's going to make
agree.
something happen. They should have lost that game, yeah, but you know what? That's part of the game, Marshentime. That
him. Agreed.
game that we know today, and he made the first down and he won that freaking football game. That's what a primetime quarterback does. I put them arguably on the same spectrum as the Cincinnati Bengals, but the Cincinnati Bengals have not kept the record or kept
Yeah,
the pace
They're way
as
down there right now.
as Kansas City is kept. You know what I mean? But they could have been in that conversation. But without that, you know what Patrick Mahomes does, they could arguably be a number 3 powerhouse.
Yeah. Where are you going with number 5, man?
Oh man, number 5 is a very, very, very tricky one, man. Number 5, you could go a couple of places with that. You put me on the spot with a number 5 here. Number 5, you got to go Philadelphia, right?
Philadelphia. Okay.
You have to. You have to go
4-0.
Philadelphia.
I mean, you have to give them their credit. They're 4-0.
You have to give them the
like
credit.
They're 4-0, but they're 4-0.
You know what? Sometimes they salvage that. And Washington, again, Washington is a good freaking team. They have a good defense. They have a
Yeah, but even
questionable
not against
offense.
Washington, like even against New England, they struggled. You know, they've
New
struggled every game.
Well, Belichick knows how to scheme against a single-minded offense. When you know that you have problems with, okay, if you're Kirk Cousins, you're having problems with communication with Jefferson. You know what? I can take that single-handedly out of the game as a good coach, and I can put the pressure on this side, and we can make this a close game. That's
Yeah,
pretty
you're
much
right. You're right.
that's
But
pretty
they've
much a
struggled every
way
game. I mean, they really haven't blown anybody out. So I'm just saying, you know, what I mean, but I mean,
they
I agree
haven't,
with you putting them at 5. You know, they're
and
still 4-0. They still deserve to be there, but
Well, Jalen Hurts and Brown as a wide receiver, we all seen what he did last week. That's not going to stop. Even if they get down under the radar, they are still going to do that because Jalen Hurts can move outside of the pocket. He
yeah,
does
that's
not
true.
have to stay inside that pocket, even though he is very good at passing inside that pocket. When he's on the run, he's very deadly. He was number 2 to Joe Burrow last year on the
True.
run outside the pocket. Okay, so and there's a reason why he was in the Super Bowl. So yeah, that's a viable choice, number 5.
All right. Well, you know, we'll stop right there. We'll leave it at number 5. We'll leave it at 5. You know, because
Okay,
we're starting to get close to that 30-minute mark. So we'll stop it at 5 for now, guys. You know, but I do have one question for you, Donnie Mac.
I
We
got
talked
one for
about our
you too.
top 5. We talked about top 5. Who is the worst team in the NFL right now? Who are you putting at power ranking 32?
Well, I could say the Denver
So that's
Broncos.
your, but
But
they won
they
a
beat the
game.
Chicago Bears last week.
Who
Chicago
are
Bears
actually
has got
leading right now?
who are actually leading right now. That is freaking crazy that you say that. But at this point in this podcast, if you tell me that Chicago Bears are leading right now and they win this game, I say the Denver Broncos. But if you say the Chicago Bears lose this game, Marshentime, I say it's the Chicago Bears. Claypool, number 1. When
Is
you
a
let that
joke to me.
situation, if you let that situation go sour, that's a number 1 receiver.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
make him a number 1 receiver.
You
He
can.
proved that in Pittsburgh. So you guys couldn't make that right. You're not making it right with Justin Fields because he's putting you on blast on media. First of all, that's not a good deal. That is a bad, sour taste in my mouth. That's the worst team in the NFL. At least Sean Payton backs up whatever the hell he's got going on over there and says, he didn't place all the blame on his quarterback. He said, it's whatever. That's embarrassing. He didn't divert none of that onto his team. He did not do that. Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, that's a catastrophe, man. You really can't. I can't.
I agree with you. I agree with
I
you.
can't. I can't go along with that. I really can't. So to me, that's the worst team in the NFL. Now let me divert that
Go
back to
ahead.
you, there, Martian time.
Go ahead. What you got?
Okay, okay. You picked Joe Burrow to
Mm,
be the
mm,
MVP this year.
mm,
At this point in the
mm.
season, I will tell you this now. I will back you up there, Martian time. I got your back, brother. On the
I mean,
NFC side of things, you did take CMC to be your
I
MVP
did.
for the
I did.
National Football League. Overall, you took Joe Burrow. Where are you siding right now? Who are
Listen,
you
man.
looking at? Who? No,
It's
no,
not
no.
really
Listen.
fair because Joe Burrow comes in hurt and he's playing these games hurt now, and he shouldn't have, and it's ruining my picks. You know, I wish
Right
he would have sat
now,
out the
right
first 2 weeks.
now,
But
right
CMC
now,
is the guy, man.
he's the
This guy has
guy.
put up so many yards. I think when I was reading something, he was like 101 yards or something over the next guy.
Yeah.
He's insane. I mean,
600
4
yards
TDs,
from
man.
scrimmage, dude.
The
7
guy
TDs from
is a
scrimmage. 7.
beast. I'm sorry.
7 TDs
CMC
from
right now,
scrimmage.
there shouldn't even be a question about who would, if the MVP race ended today, there shouldn't even be a question. Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the league by far, and he's the best player in the league right now.
Yeah.
CMC should win this, no problem. If season ended right now, of course we got still got like 11, 12 games to go, 13 games to go. There's
Yeah.
still quite a few games to go, but CMC, you are a beast. And you know
You
what?
are.
I love you. I love you because you're on our fantasy team, and we're gonna keep riding with you. Hey, Donnie Mac didn't want you. I just want you to know that. I
Yeah,
got
I
you,
didn't.
CMC.
I didn't,
I wanted you.
CMC.
I'm
I
glad I
was
did.
afraid of your health.
I'm glad I
You know
did.
what? Stay healthy, Christian McCaffrey. I'm telling you, man, you are doing this deal. You could be the next running back to win the MVP. You had
He
seven
should,
catches,
man.
yards last year or last game, dude. You got 600 yards from scrimmage. You got 7 touchdowns from scrimmage, dude. Keep it up, dude. Win an MVP for the running backs, man,
Do it.
because
Do it.
that is the most underrated position in the NFL right now.
100%, man. And he's just putting up numbers that are crazy. And I love it. All right, so we talked about that. We got to talk about some big college football games before we sign
We
off,
have
though.
to. We have
We
to,
have to.
man. Let's keep
You
this
got
going.
Oklahoma, Texas. You got,
Oklahoma,
Georgia,
Texas.
Kentucky is going to be a good game.
That's going to
That's
be a
going to be a
really
good
good
game.
game.
There's
That's going to
also
be a
one
real.
other one. Louisville, Notre Dame.
Ooh.
Louisville's 5-0, man.
Notre Dame has got a powerhouse of a defense, though.
It's going to be a
Okay.
fun game. I'm telling you, man. 7:30
Louisville is a high-powered offensive attack
game.
against a stacked defense. How is this going to work out?
It's
And they
gonna be
are
fun.
in Louisville, right?
They are. They are. I'm telling you, man. Louisville could pull
So-
off an upset here, and Kentucky could pull off an upset. If Kentucky can run the ball like they did against Florida, look
Oh,
out for
man.
Kentucky, man. Look out for Kentucky.
I'm telling you what, that Kentucky running back. Listen, I looked about midway and through the second quarter when they were playing Florida. That Kentucky running back had 7 carries, okay,
For like
at
100
20
something
yards.
yards.
At 20 yards a pop. At 20 yards a pop. That was uncalled for. Uncalled for. They come out of halftime, and he was doing the same thing. He averaged at
100%.
the end of the game 11.5 yards a carry. Marshentime, I don't know how, as a head coach, you let that happen.
There wasn't anybody to
If-
stop that guy.
Their
He was
quarterback
gonna get the
had
yards.
60 yards passing, maybe 69. I don't know the exact
And they beat the crap
yards
out of UF.
behind it. Oh my gosh, dude. It was so bad. I loved it. Don't get me wrong, because as an Ohio State fan, I watched Tim Tebow just gut the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Listen, I'm a
but-
Florida State fan, so I don't want to hear your I don't want to hear anything. I hate Florida more. That's just going to be as simple as that. So,
Hey, but we're a couple minutes overtime though. But a couple things you were watching over the past week is the United States Pool League.
Oh,
Is
the
that what
U.S.
you
Open.
said?
The U.S. Open.
The U.S. Open and
Yeah,
pool.
yeah.
Can you tell us a few pointers behind that? Any pool fans watching U.S. Pool League?
Yeah, U.S. Open.
Marshentime
the US
is your
Open-
guy.
The U.S. Open has been like the most prestigious event in pool for a long time, except for the Moscone Cup. But the U.S. Open, there's a bunch of winners that have always. It's once a year. It's a crazy tournament. There's like 128 people that come into this tournament and try to play it.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it narrows down. It's over 5 or 6 days. I think it was 6 days today. And the guy who won, Koping Chung, this guy took off and he was shooting lights out. The guy beat in the semifinals. So this is the semifinals where there's top four players. He beat him 11-0. The
Wow.
guy got up to the other guy got
Skunked
up to
him.
the table twice, and he couldn't miss. And he beat
You're
another
talking
guy.
9-ball, right?
This is
This
nine
is
ball.
9-ball.
This is 9-ball.
Straight 9-ball.
Straight
right.
9-ball, and then he played another guy in the finals named Fedor Gorst, who is an amazing pool player. If you want to watch a guy who has the best mechanics, Fedor Gorst is the guy to go watch. And he beat Fedor Gorst 13-6 in the finals very easily, and he was shooting well. He's a young player, and he's going to be in a lot of tournaments later on in his career. So
No kidding. Hey, that's a good update there, Marshentime. I felt like I was actually in the match there for a second.
yeah, it was crazy, man. I'm telling you, that dude shot.
That it,
I wish I could
I
shoot
play-
half that well.
I owned a pool table when I was younger, and I played a lot of pool. And 9-ball is not an exceptionally easy game to play. 8-ball is compared to 9-ball. No, it's not the same rules. You got to be precise in your shot. You got to set up your next shot.
Oh
That's the
yeah.
most important thing. You got to set not only your next shot, but you got to look for your second shot after your next
Oh,
shot.
you're looking at the whole
So,
table. You're looking at the whole run out.
yeah,
These guys look for every single ball, make sure that they're in line.
you
And if
really
they
got
have
to
to
play
break something out, they'll
chess.
break something out, no problem.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. That's a big deal. Hey, next thing I want to talk about is the WNBA.
Yeah,
Real
I know
quick,
you've been
Martian
watching it,
time.
man. So go ahead, throw it out there, buddy.
Las Vegas Aces. Aces High would appreciate this, Aces High, I hope you're watching this, brother. Las Vegas Aces are looking to two-peat. They're looking to back up, which has never been done in 30 years in
Back to
WNBA.
back.
Back to back against the New York Liberty. Of course, New York Liberty, New York, we haven't been talking about a championship in freaking years, Martian time. New
Anything.
York Liberty is going for it with the reigning MVP. With the reigning MVP. Okay? These are two teams that we've been talking about since the start of this season that we were going to see in the championship. And guess what? Most highly touted championship ever. This is the most pure referee called player played game right here that we're going to see. Not college football, none of that, because now money and everything's involved.
That is true.
Yeah, these girls get played, but they are calling this straight down the middle. These are the two teams that should have been in the championship between the Aces and the Liberty. And you know what? I don't know who's going to win this Martian time. I really don't. The Aces is so good. Candace Parker, she's out. She had to have surgery. The whole 9 yards. Where do we go? Do we go to the bench as far as winning this series, or the New York Liberty's got a shot? That's all I can say. New York, you got a shot to win this championship. Aces has also got a shot to two-peat. I mean, neither one of this is historical as far as this goes for the WNBA. I'm excited about it. I don't know if anybody else is. They might
Okay.
think I'm
You got,
stupid,
you
but
got, you
I
got me. I'm kind of interested now. I
with,
haven't watched the
with
game all
Kwani
year.
Jones, Jones. I mean, you got two ex MVPs for the Aces. You got three ex MVP for the Liberty. I mean, this is a stacked deck on both sides of the ball. They were supposed to meet here, Martian time. They were
And
supposed,
they're
and
there.
guess what? They're there. This is the most pure sport we got to watch right now. There's no politics involved. These girls are just playing for a championship, and this is one you guys got to watch. You really have to watch this because this is going to be pure sports, pure heart, pure aggression, blood, sweat, and tears coming out in these finals right here. You're going to want to watch it.
I
I
love it.
promise
I
you.
love it. Hey man, I'm
You're
in.
going to want to
I'll
watch it.
watch a game now. I want to
I'm
watch a
trying to
game.
tell you. You're gonna want to watch it. Get with Aces High. He knows a little bit about those Vegas Aces, man.
Hey man, before we sign off, I gotta say one more thing. Hey, Dick
Okay.
Butkus passed away, man. Rest in peace. That dude was a hell of a linebacker. I mean, the enforcer. I know.
We talked about the '85 Bears,
I'm
man.
telling you, man. I mean, guys who never won championships. We brought him up specifically. The guy was. I mean, do you know of another linebacker who had so much recognition that never won a championship?
No, no, I don't. I don't. Not only that, a guy that was so well loved by the football community.
100%.
He was. He was not
No
only a
matter what
football
fan you
player.
are, no matter what,
It
you
doesn't
were
matter.
there. You
Even
liked him.
even on ESPN, Fox Sports, Dick Butkus was there. We saw
100%.
him. We talked to him. We listened to him for sports analysis. Dick Butkus. That's a huge blow to my heart. It's very heavy for that, just because it's part of my childhood. First of
Of
all,
course, of
coming
course.
up, I was born in that era, and watching him, he was the reason why I love football.
Listen,
And watching him on ESPN and Fox Sports afterwards, Dick Butkus will always be a legend in my mind.
always, always, he will always be a
Always,
legend and always be probably one of the greatest linebackers of all time. Like he was a
all
best,
time.
and you know, Chicago Bears. I hope you win this game for him. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm rooting for them right now. So, hey man, anything else
Uh,
before you sign us off for the night?
Shout out to Asia Wilson for the Aces, man. I hope you do your thing tonight, girl. I know you're bidding for another two-peat, but that's it. Aces high. Thanks for joining me last week, filling in. Until then, that is Marshentime right there. I'm Johnny Mac. This is 863 Sports Buzz Podcast. Join us every week and every Sunday right here on YouTube.